Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the Nerdening with Outlander from the American Machine and
Ollamh.
Of Ollamh Productions.
Yeah, big surprise. It's my channel. Anyway, welcome to the Nerdening.
So welcome back to everybody. Today we are talking about prequels.
Yes, all three. The good, the so-so, and...
the ugly.
Yeah.
let's just call it the good, the bad, the ugly.
Alright, fine. Yeah. Okay, so, let's start off with what we think of as good prequels. Now, mine... I actually could not come up with a good prequel as far as a movie.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, we talked about it, and I had to do some little nerd finagling in some of the series that exist, and comic books, and in the movies, and the video games. It's too much. You know, it's too much nerd to try to do in a video. But you did mention.
Yes, I did. I am going to cheat a little bit and go with my gaming experience and say the Knights of the Old Republic was actually a really good prequel.
I didn't play it. I only heard rave reviews about it.
It was really good as far as the simple fact that they don't try and recreate the characters from previous games and stuff like that.
Well, it was like 1,000 years in the past, right?
Several thousand actually, I think. 4,000 or 5,000, I think.
So Luke Skywalker, who the hell is that?
But it was the idea of the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire are at war. This is long before Emperor Palpatine or anybody like that. So, you have a lot of... you can play around with it a lot more. You can have the main characters in with a sense of endangerment. You get a sense of danger. You don't know what's going to happen. Nobody's touched this, so everything's in question. What is your opinion as far as a good prequel?
A good prequel. I had a hard time coming up with one. One of the things that I thought was somewhere between good and not bad. Somewhere between good and not so bad. You know, I wouldn't call it bad in that range at all. Was the Clone Wars animated series.
Okay.
They went a lot of places with that, and it was really entertaining. It was fun. It was definitely for children and geared at children, just like the other movies. But as a series, they touched a lot of story points and introduced a lot of characters that were somewhere in the background.
Okay, so that's our good. Now for the bad, which is actually just kind of a so-so.
Yeah.
Now this one, for me, really, really just... I'm torn as to...
one particular scene that you keep coming to.
Well, it's The Hobbit. I've watched the first movie. I haven't watched the other two just because I grew up reading that book. So, the big thing for me as far as The Hobbit was, I put it as so-so because they touch on all the major points of the book. They also go a little bit further as far as explaining where Gandalf is when he's not with the group. Now, where I hate the movies is when they shoehorn in stuff that wasn't even in the book just to stretch it out to a trilogy.
Yeah, that was one of my beefs. That was totally one of my beefs when I first heard they were putting out a whole trilogy for just one book. No.
I mean, and then they introduced the characters that were in The Lord of the Rings that were never in The Hobbit. Legolas never appeared in the book for The Hobbit. And they put him in all of these dangerous situations where he's running up falling bricks. He's not gonna die. You know he's not gonna die. As an audience, it's not a question of, is he going to survive? It's, okay, we know he's gonna survive. How is he gonna survive? And then there was the whole forced love interest between a dwarf and an elf. That just, no. One of the major things in The Lord of the Rings was the friendship between an elf and a dwarf was unheard of.
Let alone a love affair.
Yeah. The whole love interest thing was bad. So that's my so-so. It had good points, but at the same time, they tried too much to bring in the things from the Fellowship of the Rings. So, for you, what was your so-so prequel?
My so-so prequel. Alright, so, my so-so prequel. And it was one that I was super excited for, because it was another one of those things. I had all the comics, I had the graphic novels, the regular movie novels and everything. Prometheus. I left the theater screaming, like me and a bunch of other people nerded out shouting very loudly, and had to be asked to leave the lobby of the theater after I saw that movie. Because everything about that movie was great. It was totally different characters. It was really well played. It is cinematography, special effects, everything fell into place. And just like The Watchmen, lost it at the end. Just totally screwed it up at the very, very end. The final act, that was what did it for me. And the thing that I hated was, like, later, you find online, there's like this 27-minute video trying to explain everything about Prometheus. If you need to watch a half an hour extra special feature, something made by somebody else to help you understand a movie, that movie was not well made. But it was everything that we wanted it to be, except for that weird zombie dude and did something else, whatever. I don't even know. I still don't understand what all happened there, but could have been better. If it had ended on the right note, it would have been better.
Oh, I mean, I didn't mind Prometheus as far as, I mean, the alien doesn't look like the aliens later on.
But of course he wouldn't.
But yeah, there's a whole lot of evolution. You know, how often does it have to gestate in a human being before it develops those specific characteristics?
The series implies that it's just one gestation. An interesting point I want to bring up is that the alien that Ripley first encounters has 6 fingers.
Okay.
He has the one here and the extra thumb sticking out the other side. So whatever species that particular alien had previously inhabited, had previously spawned from, was a 6-fingered species. I'm trying to do that right. It was a 6-fingered species. So that implies the engineers, and that was why the ending of the first one, where it's supposed to crash on LV-426, and then alien happens.
Alright, so, we've had the good, we've had the bad, now for just the flat-out ugly. And there is no other choice for a true geek than Star Wars prequel made by George F. and Lucas.
I'll admit, it's that kind of ugly that it's pretty at first. It's flashy.
Oh, it's pretty. It looks fun. Great.
It looks like a lot of fun, standing there by the bar, saying, "Hey, Star Wars fan, you want some of this?" And then you find out, it's like that old In Living Color skit. Or no, it wasn't even In Living Color. It was some other movie with Damon Wayans. Starts pulling off the wig and everything else. And the prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
It just... Every time, at every reveal in that movie, it got worse.
It was, let's face it, it was so bad that George Lucas actually stopped having really any major input in Star Wars. He sold his company to Disney and retired.
Yeah, it was a game changer for him. That's for sure.
He actually wrote some suggestions for the new trilogy and sent them to Disney, and Disney said, "Oh, hey, thanks. We're going to put this in the shredder."
And I always wonder, you know, we may never know, but I wonder, was that the whole, well, legal, no, liability, no, or just hell, no? We may never know.
One of the major things that interested me was how much he changed within that prequel trilogy. In the first one, the Force was explained by midichlorians, these microscopic bacteria that live in the bloodstream that gives you access to the Force. And then it was never heard from again.
George Lucas is the only nerd who didn't talk to Star Wars nerds before he made these movies. Just saying.
And there was one scene in the second one where you have Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Padme chained to posts, about to be, devoured by these lizard things.
Executed.
And Obi-Wan Kenobi was in the original trilogy, so he's going to survive. Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader. He's going to survive. Padme has yet to give birth to Luke and Leia, therefore, for the time being, she has to survive. There is no threat to the characters, not for the audience. Now, for the characters, yes, there is a threat. They don't know that they're going to survive.
It might seem dangerous to the characters if they can act it.
But as far as for the audience, it's kind of we're going to treat you like a 5-year-old child and put these characters that you've seen later on in danger. The one thing that they did explain with the prequel very well is why Luke Skywalker is such a whiny little bitch.
Because Daddy was.
You do realize that he tried to make Anakin Skywalker Jesus.
Well, yeah.
His mother flat out said there was no father.
That was a big... that was the downturn right there. It's like, seriously,
Immaculate Conception.
Midichlorians, and now this.
Yeah.
What was there one? Oh, no. That particular moment, like there's moments like that all throughout the final, the prequels, but that final moment in the first one was the, midichlorians. That particular moment in the second one was, he's Jesus.
No, Jesus was in the first one. She was talking to...
So that was 2 in the first one.
Yeah.
But, okay, so in the third one, the big one for me in the third one was just that final cry at the end for Vader. Lord Vader, someone has dropped your ice cream cone. No!
Yeah. And just to add...
horrible.
Just to add insult to injury.
Even the video effects in that scene were not...
No, just to add insult to injury, he then went in, made a special edition of the original, adding in little touches here and there. Anakin Skywalker becomes a ghost alongside Yoda and Obi-Wan, and all of a sudden, he's this young kid that nobody else other than those two has ever frickin' seen.
Yeah.
Luke's probably sitting there. Hi, Dad. Who the are you?
Well, what a screwed up idea that was. What a screwed up idea that was, because Anakin Skywalker didn't die when he was 24.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come on, George.
How come Obi-Wan didn't turn into Ewan McGregor?
That's also a good... Did Christian Haydenson write that into his contract or something?
I think it's just George Lucas failing at his own product again.
Let's just dump that one on the tank.
Okay, so that is our picks as far as the good, the bad, and the just god-awful prequels.
For this week.
What are your thoughts as far as prequels? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think they're just fan service? Do you think that they really expand the universe?
And what are the kind of the rules that you think exist that should be in play for making a believable, fun, enjoyable, not necessarily, not lip service, but okay fan service to a particular universe that tells a different story? Or if it's the same story, again, it's no fun, right? So, let us know what you think in the comments down below.
And, as always, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions.
And the American Machine. We'll see you then.